Update: am I the butthole for throwing my kids' clothes onto the floor when they don't fold them neatly? Almost 2 months ago, I made a post on here about me throwing my daughter's clothes onto the drawer when they weren't folded neatly. Well, that post really blew up. People on Twitter also chimed in. Well, the night I made the post, I was still in serious denial. I replied to some comments and my denial was perfectly clear for everyone to see. The day after, I read some more comments and messages I received from everyone. I resorted to the guest room and cried for hours. I read some people tell me that their moms were similar to me and they no longer have relationships with them. That was truly my worst fear. I seriously love my kids more than anything on this planet, even if my actions don't always show it. I booked a virtual appointment with a psychologist, who diagnosed me with OCD and let me know she would help me. I have since had about 8 sessions with her and she has been a big help. Of course, I still have a long way to go, but I have been noticing some improvements already. As for my daughter, she stayed at my sister's house and came home a few days later after I told her that there would be major improvements made in my behavior. I sat all the kids down and told them that I have the resources to not be such an overbearing butthole to them anymore. One thing I do want to address is the fact that I was usually controlling with my kids, but the incident I wrote about was the one that sent both me and my daughter over the edge. Me and her are on much better terms. I want to thank Reddit for waking me the hell up to become a better mom and wife. I also want to apologize to anyone who I brought back bad memories to. I want to have relationships with my children until we all grow old, and I know so many of you guys don't have that, which breaks my heart, but also hearing your stories gave me a big change of heart and are helping me fix my relationships and become a better person. For anyone who didn't read the original, great job, Op. Personal growth is often difficult. Keep it up and your relationship with your daughter will continue to repair. Web link. Reading the original thread is making me realize just how much effed up stuff my own parents put me through. And why I have a difficult relationship with them. Good on you for taking the steps to do better, Op. Parental abuse is something that takes an entire lifetime to recover from, if recovery ever happens. It may be hard, but I'm wishing you and your family the best. Hopefully things will become much happier and healthier for you all, sparkling heart. A simple sorry for what I did. I understand now, it was messed up and I'm trying to change. Goes a super long way in recovery for the kid. Most parents like this just act like the kid was overreacting and never admit they were wrong. No, it doesn't. The words mean nothing. The actions are what helps. My mom would say that all the time, but never meant it. You're right. It only helps if it's followed by changed actions. If the actions don't change, then the apology was a placate lie. There's bland apologies that are generic and heartless. But sometimes, from some people, there's apologies phrased in a way that you can see understanding in the other person for how they hurt you. I'd still like some apologies like that from my mom, because it would help mend some issues between us, but I doubt I'll ever get any. But if an apology isn't followed by a change, it's still worthless. I'm sorry that's all your mom ever gave you. You deserved better. Lol, I can count on one hand the amount of times my parents admitted fault, and I'm in my 20s. I think my mom liked using it as a manipulative tactic, because she knew I would fall for it. Now I'm nearly 26, and I haven't spoken to her for 2 years, so that didn't work out for very long. Yeah, same. I love my mother, but there were multiple instances that she tore my room apart like a hurricane, and while it was extremely upsetting, then I realized it, along with other behavior I endured from her temper and my parents' extremely unhealthy relationship, left some trauma that makes me incredibly anxious even as an adult who hasn't lived with them for years. I'm sensitive to other adults yelling or seemingly loud noises that may be from anger. I'm in my 30s and still can't stand being around people yelling. It could be 2 complete strangers yelling at each other in a random parking lot, and I would start to feel the first fluttering of a panic attack. It sucks. I have a thing about yelling, too. I think that if it's worth being said, it's worth being said at a respectful volume and with an iota of being composed. People really aren't encouraged to take time out if they're too heated to regard their child/significant odd/hair/sibling/whoever with respect. If they're your loved ones, they deserve that much. Completely agree. Totally feel this. I'm sorry you had to go through that, and that the pain from that has not left you to this day. It is still difficult for me to reconcile that these people who I love, and who say they love me, have caused so much harm to me. Part of it comes from their own histories of being treated poorly by their families/communities. And they have not yet fully unlearned all that entails. But for people like that, it ends up being put on their children. So it's just weird. On the one hand, I have sympathy for you, but on the other, you've hurt me so much. You've made my life much harder, and you've left me afraid and emotionally unfulfilled. Much love to you, dear. And much love to anyone struggling with their relationship with their parents, in whatever capacity. It is a difficult, confusing, scary place to be. Totally understand why you still deal with these issues. Hope you can find some peace. Thanks so much for linking to the original, much appreciated. In case you don't know, you can always click the username and then the submitted tab. Since this sub is almost always throwaways, it's usually the next post down. Thank you for this as well. That is so helpful. Very, very much appreciated. Hey, good for you on taking the initiative and changing for the better. I hope your kids admire the changes you're making to be a better parent to them. OCD is super hard without help to manage, so congrats. I wasn't expecting a wholesome update like this. I really thought original post would be coming back to double down. What a nice surprise. This is Am I the Butthole goals right here. Might like our /best of Redditor updates, Reddit link. Did we ever hear anything more from the Am I the Butthole for eating 4 feet of a party sub and polishing the whole thing off guy? Because that's who I really need an update from to have peace in my life. I truly think about that guy a lot. Same. I remember him defending himself by saying that he could easily eat 5 Subway footlongs in an afternoon. I mean, JC, sadly, maybe the reason this guy hasn't updated is because he's not around anymore, with those kinds of eating problems. Oh dear, I didn't even think of that. I'm so glad that I'm not the only one that occasionally thinks of this dude. Wasn't it a 6 feet sub though? It was a 6-foot sub, of which he ate 4.5 feet of it. I know, because I brought it up at school today, because it was important to me. That story is important to all of us. It will find its way into the What's Your Favorite Famous Reddit Post Ask Reddit threads alongside Guy Who Lives Out Another Lifetime in a Coma, Reddit Diagnosis Carbon Monoxide Poisoning, Uneiden Well Destroys His Entire Reputation and Gets Banned, Rampart, What is a Potato, What Goes with Rice, Why is Reddit in Spanish, and the Jolly Rancher Story. Okay, I'm sorry, what? I've heard of 1 or 2 of these, but I think I need a list. Is there a list of links to these anywhere? Carbon monoxide in this, which has its own section on, lol. Be warned, it is gross. Web link. Intriguing. Lots of us have catch-up homework to read. Thank you. I need to read this story. Activate sub search. Found it. Web link. I thought about him the other day when I was making bread. I thought about him the other day while chowing down on subs. My boyfriend ate 2.25. But he brought chicken wings. Yeah, I would love an update on that. I want an update from the guy with the wife that used olive oil to clean her butt. Alright, going to have to look this one up. The top comment sent me. Is your wife, like, okay? Now I'm going to go to bed thinking of greasy, unwashed, olive oil lathered genitals and mouth anuses. Some people, man. The internet is a strange and wonderful realm. Haha, the ops reply. I don't know. I live for it. Ooh, thank you. I do. Oh, thank you. Does anyone know the original post? Archive of the website is here. Web link. It really, seriously is. I hope it's instructive to people who have OCD or know someone who does, as well. It makes you really, really care about random arbitrary things, to the point where you break from reality to the extent that original post did, and obviously that can really F up your relationships. Hopefully more people end up getting the outside intervention they need because of the visibility of this post. Yes. Original post should be very proud of herself for reaching out and getting help. I have OCD as well, and although I suspected, it was really hard and scary to take the step of finding a doctor to help me. I think that may be a problem for a lot of people with OCD and other disorders. Hopefully Ops Update will inspire them to get out there and get the help they need. I am so much happier and feel like I am able to be myself now. My OCD is under much better control, and I'm able to enjoy spending time with my kids. I hope Original Post and others will be able to do the same. Edit, spelling, punctuation. I always love when an comes back to double down on his crap, but this was great too. Yeah, effing good on Op. Good job. So awesome that they are taking charge and working to improve their behavior. Way to seek outside help when needed, Op. Being willing to adapt is one of the best traits a parent can have. I bet if her kids remember this in the future, they'll be so proud of their mom for taking the time and putting in the effort to change for them. For real. Having a parent who is willing to get mental health care makes it quite a bit more likely that if any of the kids ever are in need of mental health care that they'll seek it out. This is such a great and unexpected update. And what a great example to set for your kids, to be able to recognize your fallibility, apologize without making excuses, and work on improving is going to be one of the most valuable lessons you can teach them. And kudos to you for raising your daughter with a voice of her own. Kudos to her for going to her aunts for peace and to help enlighten you. Well done, ladies. Good on you, Op. I have OCD myself and grew up with an extremely controlling mother, though that wasn't her worst quality, who I no longer have a relationship with, so I understand both sides of this. I wish that she would have tried to change like you are. Best of luck to you and your children. Yes. Also have OCD and a crazy bananas mother, and this is like the box full of years of cards and letters discovery for women like us. We're so proud of you, Op. I don't know how I missed that post, but Op, I'm proud of you. I have OCD and it's part of the reason I never want kids. Cheers to Original Post for making the decision to make change and work on herself. I'm really happy for her. I just want to add that the pandemic and a ton of other current events are very triggering to OCD. I was diagnosed in 2015 and have had resources to help me. In 2019 I felt very good about where I was with OCD. By mid-March 2020 I was in a very dark place. Please hold yourself accountable, but also forgive yourself when things get hard. As a child whose parents had mental health struggles that made my childhood difficult to nightmarish, I also just want to thank you for being honest with yourself and being able to keep growing. I am so proud of you. In hopes that other people with new diagnoses of OCD see this, OCD is not a lifelong curse. It is a manifestation of anxiety that can come and go, and become better or worse depending on your current situation. Do you ever really cure OCD? No. But that does not mean that your current level of OCD will be what you're destined to have for the rest of your life. People sometimes get worse after diagnosis because they think okay, this makes sense, guess this is just what I'm like. But that's not true. Anyone who has been diagnosed for a longer period of time will tell you that obsessions come and go in intensity, topic, and manifestation. It's not like diabetes or HIV where bam, now you have it, sorry, try to manage it. It is a manifestation of anxiety you are already going through. It will change. It can and will get better. We are currently going through a very triggering time. It is understandable to be at an all-time low. This does not mean you will struggle like this forever. CBT, or even just CBT-style thinking without the help of professionals, is very valuable and can make a big difference. And remember, you cannot control the obsessions, but you can control the compulsions. Anyone who wants to talk with a seasoned veteran, DM me. We are currently going through a very triggering time. It is understandable to be at an all-time low. This does not mean you will struggle like this forever. I needed to hear this, thank you. I sent you a message. My psychiatrist gave me my OCD diagnosis last summer, but my previous therapist dismissed it because my compulsions aren't ritualistic or obvious enough for me to even notice if they're compulsions or not. I've been seeing a new therapist for a couple months and they helped go into more detail what the different forms of OCD can look and feel like, and it's been really helpful feeling like I can finally start understanding why my brain works this way. I'd love to chat about it since I've always struggled to figure out if my thoughts and behaviors are normal or not. I don't think anyone should gatekeep what is and isn't ritualistic enough. Sure, There's a line between OCD and people who like having a routine, but there's no divide between what is and isn't a compulsion. /r/oct can tell you that some are pretty effing weird lol. Remember, we do compulsions in response to the obsessions. They are not obsessions and compulsions. They are compulsions born out of obsessions, even if we do not always realize it. A normal amount of self-awareness is also a diagnostic criteria for OCD. For example, think about the difference between saying, I know it's dumb but I always have to put my finger in the keyhole after I lock it because otherwise I don't feel like it's really locked, I don't know, I guess I'm scared of being burgled? Versus you don't get it. I have to put my finger in the lock after I lock it. If I don't, burglars will get it. Trust me. One is OCD. One is manic/delusional. So I cannot tell you if your behavior is normal or not based on what the compulsion or obsession is, but I can encourage you to reflect on 1. Why do you do the compulsion? Can you deduce the root obsessive thought? 2. What is the origin of the thought? Usually it's fear of death, fear of social embarrassment, or fear of physical harm, including disease/contamination. Actually, I'll go out on a limb and say it's nearly always one of those, if you deduce it far enough. 3. What happens when you don't do it? How does the rest of your day go? I can't give you points out of 10 for each and tell you if you hit a certain number, you have the disorder. That is what psychiatrists do. But if it is causing you regular mental unrest, you have a problem. It doesn't really matter if that's full-blown OCD or just a spell of anxiety, and either way, the treatment is the same. Self-reflect, learn about it, partake in CBT practices, which basically boils down to begin to face your fears at a reasonable rate. My inbox is open, Reddit link. I hope Original Post sees this sincerely. Also, it is good to be open about mental health with your children and also the steps you take to help get better. It is still such a taboo and it shouldn't be. You are strong for getting help. I came here to say your last point. My parents struggled and no one even acknowledged that they needed help, let alone got it to improve our family. Seeing you do this for your family is so incredible and heartwarming. I cannot thank you enough for taking that step for your family. You showed them how deeply you care, by being willing to do better. That makes a lot of sense. Since you can't control a scary larger world, you buckle down and try to control more of your tiny bit of it. I've had a spike in my OCD. I have an issue where I can't trust that my garage door is shut, so I drive down the street only to turn around to drive back and verify my garage is shut. Yep, it sure is, and back I go down the street. My neighbors probably think I'm crazy. Oh wait, I am. Thank you for watching. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube. And share them with your friends. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. We welcome your comments below. Another of our videos will begin shortly.